Hey to all of my spiritually minded sisters. Listen, I am so just overwhelmed with the Lord. And listen, if you don't know, I recently had the tremendous opportunity to minister at my church. Now, for some people, you might minister all the time at your church, or you just like, these are just my people, these are my family. But listen, when everything matters, when you are just leaning and grabbing and you are anticipating every move of God and you know that everything is working towards an expected end, then I was really taking in the moment and understanding that it is working for me. Understanding that, it is building up my strength, up my stamina. It is building on the call of my life, is building even my confidence in standing firm in his call on my life, even understanding that there is more to me, there's more to you. We can't get so complacent in where we are. And if you follow me on Facebook, I shared that a long time ago, the Lord had placed in my heart that I know, Angelique, I placed this gift of dance in you, but there was more in you. There's more that I put in you. And he began to, show me some things even at a young age, just little small, tiny tidbits. And I never quite had the green light to, go forth. Or I never heard the Lord say, take what I gave you and forward march. But now is the time. And so I'm really just grateful for the opportunity. Anytime I make these big life-changing decisions, I always make sure that I go to the Lord and say, well, Lord, did you say this? Because I want to make sure that I have your stamp of approval. Because if I'm going forward, Lord, I want you to go with me. And he said yes. So here we are. And feel free to go to Zion Pentecostal Church of Christ, the YouTube page, and you will be able to see, hear me speak, hear what the Lord has given me to share with the women, because our women's theme for this year is just do it. And listen, that is a whole word by itself. It don't leave no excuses. It don't leave nothing on the table, okay? Anything that comes against you doing what the Lord has called for you to do, the response is going to always be, just do it. I hear you got excuses. Just do it. I know you said you're not qualified. Just do it. I know you're afraid. Just do it. It's just continually pushing us forward and commanding us to birth out of us what is on the inside. Those big gifts, those gentle gifts, those gifts that are for the nations, gifts that are just for our church, for our community, gift for our family members, whatever it is, the Lord has need of us, and the word is just to do it. So go ahead and check that out. It's also linked into one of my playlists. It's called My Ministry Opportunities. So you can go and check that out. And of course, if you are not subscribed to this channel, feel free to do so. Feel free to share, click the notification, because you never know when we're going to be dropping in. Today, I'm not really coming with a scripture per se. I was just thinking how I just bought some milk, and the expiration or the best by date on the milk that is at home is 4/22. Now I realize today is 4/26. I'm not going to smell the milk, okay? And by the 23rd, by the 24th, absolutely, I will have already said, we're not going to use this milk because it's spoiled. I know that's the best by day. It's spoiled. It's going to make our stomach sick. We're going to get food poisoning. And I started to laugh because I distinctively, remember a time where I threw away basically a whole half of a turkey packet because the best by date had passed. My mom said, girl, why did you throw that meat in the trash? I said, it expired. She said, that's the best by date. As in, that is when all of the ingredients might start to lose their flavor, but it's not expired. And I was like, oh. But you know what? Ever since then, I've been reading the dates, the best by dates, the use by date, the freeze by dates, the expired by dates. And listen, whatever the date is, that's the date we throw it out. And I started to laugh to myself because I know there's other people out here like that too, right? I'm not the only one. But we were just created different. We were in so many aspects, not just, in looking at expiration dates, but we were made different, like cut from a different cloth. And we don't even have any reason. I can't really go to a time where I can like recall, well, this is why I check the dates all the time. I don't remember. But there are like some things in our lives, some areas in our lives, even if it's by our actions, by our words, by our habits, that we just do it differently than other people. And they don't understand. We are just cut from a different cloth. And when it comes down to it, like, how bold are you? How bold am I to just be different? Because it can get uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable to be the only one who is going right when everyone else is going left. It can be very uncomfortable, even for other people, that you are standing and they are sitting. And I won't forget, my husband was talking about how I always like go against the grain. What does that even mean? I told him, this is just by a random conversation that I used to watch this show called Daria. And it was about this girl. She was like very anti a little bit. And she hanged out with a friend who was kind of like a goth. And they had like very straightforward attitudes against, everything. And it was just kind of like, like everybody else is excited and they're just like, whatever. And he said, that's probably where you got it from, growing up watching Daria. But listen, the Lord made me different. The Lord made you different. He sanctified us. He set us apart. So we are not supposed to be like everybody else. We have to shine the light on what is right. Shine the light on who God is. Where they say, I know that they have said that to you, or you have heard other people share that, they've gone to the grocery store and someone said, there's something different about you. Why are you always smiling? Why do you always have this glow? It's because the joy of the Lord is in me. It's because I have experienced his grace. I haven't lost my mind because I know who God is. There are other people who have experienced the same thing, or even have experienced less, but here I am, standing in my right mind, knowing exactly who God is. I could have lost my life. I could have lost my whole mind to the big things. And listen, for some of us millennials, to the small things, okay? Because the stress is real. But he made us to be the salt of the earth, not to blend in and make everything bland. He made us to shake the things up. So wherever you are, shake it up. Shake it up, okay? That's when you are at Starbucks. It don't matter that other people are not saying hello, good morning, how are you? It doesn't matter that everybody's grumpy waiting for their coffee, grumpy waiting for their Chipotle. You have the patience. The Lord will be using me in Chipotle, okay? Because they say, we don't have no chicken, we don't have any rice, no beans, and we all out of sour cream. And when I tell you that the people in Chipotle, they just eat, it's immediate. But the Lord be using me. He be helping me to exercise that patience. Because I'm the salt of the earth. Meant to make things different. Meant to reveal what it is that we should be doing that is right. That will lead us down the path to the Lord. down the path of righteousness. And speaking of being different and how it can be uncomfortable, even for you to step out. Like, there are some people who can say, I'm different, and that's fine with me. I'm going to stand with that. But there are also some people who are different, and it's uncomfortable because all eyes are on you. Everyone is questioning why. Everybody eat their cheesecake, and you got to explain to everybody that you lactose and your stomach be just messing up. But listen, it's all with a purpose. Your testimony, your sharing of why you can remain peaceful in a stressful situation, why you're not going to worry when they say that they're starting to make cuts on your job, when you're not going to worry because there is a large bill that has come. You just say, Lord, I place it in your hands. You just say, Lord, use me for your glory. Or you say, Lord, here I am. Or say, Lord, I'm going to trust you. Lord, I'm going to have faith. Lord, I'm not going to lean to my own understanding. Then you get noticed, and then you can point it back to the Lord, because I know who he is, and I've seen him work, and I've felt him work, experienced him work in my life. I will tell you a story of one of my friends who would always use up toilet tissue. Some of y'all might know her. Using so much toilet tissue where she had to go and buy her own. Nobody was having it. The parents were not having it. You're not going to keep using up all this tissue. Your nose don't require that much tissue. You using the bathroom don't require that much tissue. Why are you wiping the floors with the tissue? Why are you wiping the counters with the tissue? It's just too much. The cost of tissue that we are going through, according to our family size, is just astronomical. And it's because of you. And she was just using it. But then, when she got on her own, guess what? She wasn't using the tissue as much. Definitely wasn't running out or needing to replace it every week, because you know you got the 8 mega rolls. Not needing to replace it every week. But then she started breaking stuff. Let me show you what. Now, if we could just make that a whole like biblical story, right? Listen, and just a side note, if you can look at your life as if it would appear in the Bible, so much more things would make sense, or you would be able to just be a little bit more at ease with it. But anyway, if we was to change that story into a Bible story, it would sound something like there was a woman in Ohio, and every single day she would go into her home using up every single thing in the house. Almost, what is the word? Mooching, overusing, just really hands-on with everything, using it up until it's gone, requiring more and more and more, running out, needing to get more. But then the Lord moved her out of her house into a new house that she never been in before. And then she started breaking things, breaking down chairs, breaking the walls, breaking the dishes, breaking the windows, breaking appliances. What is the whole moral of the story? I tried to make this make sense in my mind, but the whole moral of the story is when she was home, she was using the resources, using the experiences that were available to her. But guess what? it was not working or going to work for her future. It was going to work against her. And God, being who he is, ordering her steps, pulled her out of where she was, out of what was familiar, out of what was closest to her, out of all of what she had known, and placed her into somewhere that had no past and no history. Because ultimately, that home, that old house, would not have served her for where the Lord would have wanted her to go. So then when she moved into her new house, she's like, why do I keep breaking things? And the Lord says, what does he say? It's right here. The Lord says, you are naturally breaking things, but I made you to spiritually break things. That's why I had to move you out of your old house, because you couldn't break anything there. You were just using it. And I couldn't use you when you're using old rags that makes you smell bad, that dirties up your skin, that doesn't wash away all the blemishes, that doesn't scrub away all of the dirt, all of the past. I had to pull you out and put you in a place where I could cause for you to break that old thing off of you and break what would be new for the fruit that would come through you. And then she understood. She was made different. That's why, Lord, I couldn't hang with those people. That's why, Lord, I talk like that. That's why, Lord, you pulled me out of this situation. That's why, Lord, you had me to leave these friends. That's why, Lord, you called me at such a young age. That's why, Lord, no one has ever understood me, because I was in a place where I didn't belong, where you didn't want for me to be, and you had more in store for me. You had that expected end. My end, or her end, was in that house. She grew up there. She's going to die there. But the Lord said, there are plans to prosper you, and you can't prosper in that place. I feel like this whole thing is about to turn into something else, and that's not what I came on to say, that we are different. And hold fast to that being. It's cool to be different. But listen, when the Lord pulls you out, he can pull you out even when you're in it. I was listening to a preacher who was talking about Daniel, how he was in bondage, yet the hand of the Lord was on his life in such a way where he wasn't bound. He was saying that I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. Y'all can do it, but I know the God that I serve. That's how it is being in an old house when the Lord has said, it's you. It's you who I chose to be different. It's you who I chose to carry out my promise. It's you who I chose to show them that I am the God, that I will be with you in the furnace, that I can pull you out of that neighborhood that has all those guns and shooting, all of that, and put you in a house where you can be safe. And put you in a house where you can start to build your own self up by using positive words that I placed in your mouth. Because that old house, you were just eating up what was available to you. You were just using up what was around. You didn't see that this isn't all there is, but you were just taking. And I made you to break it. So there we have it. We were made to be different. Always different. Misunderstood and different. Cute and different. Standing being different. And I want to share with one of our bishops, I believe it was Bishop Wagner, who said the famous "don't be the second coming of anybody else, even in your difference." And we have people who we look to for a direction or a little bit of guidance or inspiration, or our mentors, or people who have gone down the road, and we want to know, well, how can I get there, or what should it look like? Careful not to be the second coming of anybody. Because listen, if we could be the second coming of somebody, I know exactly who I would be. But the Lord said, greater works. That was from that generation. And I placed you here in this time, for this season, for these people to hear your voice. I placed in your belly what needs to come out. I placed in your hand what needs to be reached out. In your mind, in your heart, in your spirit. Being different is cool. I hear my daughter screaming. I know she's playing, so don't be alarmed. That just means that I need to get off, because she's going to end up coming in here and busting through the door. And I'm going to try to, and she's going to say, what? Like she can't read body language. I know she can. That's Jessie. And I have Noah. But anyway, that was just real quick. If it was everywhere, I'm sorry. But I know something in there was good. And so thank you for, listening to me, listening to a sister just be encouraging. Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. I am very hopeful to get back on, because I'm about to graduate in a few days. And I can be a little bit free. Going to have an amazing summer. My usual summer plans, working, which is fun though for the summer. So, alrighty. I will catch you next time. Be blessed. Be different.